Hi guys. Welcome to another Tarcy Talk, and we're kind of dialing it back to the talking part again because the past few episodes were kind of more along the playing sides. Play. I was kind of worried that this was turning into a gaming channel, but I just wanted to go back a bit more to the talk portion in which we talk more than we game. We can talk about issues. So we have this. We're still going to be a bit chill though, kasi yun nga, parang tensions are still a little high. I don't want to talk about something that's too heavy before anyone's ready to actually listen to it. So, but we'll sort of kind of toe the line. We'll be a bit lighthearted, but we'll also try to talk about it. Oh, hi Hans. Okay, so so today's the 10th RC Talk episode, which I initially planned as kind of like the final episode, but let's continue producing content for as long as we can. If I notice that no one's watching anymore, then let's stop. But if people are still watching, and it seems some people still are, then let's keep on doing things. Hi Bianca. So if you noticed, the past few weeks we've been doing games. We've been doing more lighthearted things. I'm kind of looking at my phone to see the past episodes, and we have the 8th episode was chill gaming stream, which was, if I recall it was not chill. It was me stressing over trying to give Joshua instructions and not trying to stream snipe and give him instructions directly. And then also a bunch of other games after. Then we also, the one after that, we had that Among Us stream. We had played live Among Us, which was, it's different all in its own. It's really fun to play games with your friends, especially these games in which you actually get to talk to each other. I appreciate the game, the more, I suppose, action-oriented games like the shooters, like Valorant, like CS, and all of these other. But since Among Us is more of a social dynamics game, it becomes a lot more interesting. It really depends on how well you know the people that you're playing with. Because if you play Valorant with people you don't know, I don't know. I don't play these games too often. But I'm imagining if I play Valorant with people I don't know versus someone that I do know, there's a difference, definitely. No matter what, there will be a difference. But I think it's going to be lesser. Whereas if you try to play Among Us with someone that you have no idea, that you entered a random lobby and you're trying to play, I think that would be pretty pretty weird. No, I don't play Valorant. My computer can't handle Valorant. But I'm basing it off because a long time ago, back when the brothers and I would go to the province every Christmas, every summer, we'd actually go out to these comm shops and play shooter games. Like Nathan, what do we play? We played we played CS. We played Renegade. Was that multiplayer? Yeah, it was multiplayer, but we didn't play it that much. We played strategy games a lot also. So things like, I remember playing Battle Realms in these comm shops. So these games definitely become a lot more fun if you're playing with friends rather than just queuing up randomly online. But since Among Us is a game that really plays off on people, personalities, behaviors, noticing these behavioral tics that are part of your friends, then it becomes a lot more interesting. Call of Duty, maybe? We actually did play Call of Duty. So yeah. So why did I talk about? So I was talking about games because the past few weeks have been kind of kind of rough for students, for the education sector in general, I suppose. Especially if you're on the lower side. Well, actually, even if you're on the admin side, it's definitely going to be rough either side that you're on. But so since things work, because I started this channel because I wanted to, well, first I wanted to provide some kind of feedback for my students' code, but not a lot of my students watch, so there's very little point into discussing code that, since alumni are the ones who mostly watch, I don't want to give you guys flashbacks on your hated days of ComSci. So I mean, I'll still do a coding stream if I find it's needed, and I'll see if, but I might just do it from my the more official Pisai YouTube account. So here, this is more on student support, providing talks that I feel maybe some people need to hear, that some people need to be reminded of, some advice, general reminders. If you'll accept advice from someone who's around only 10 years older than you. I'm 10 years older than you guys, right? 15-ish. So, and in the long run, 15 years older is not that much, but yeah, hopefully I have some things to talk about that you guys can agree on, disagree on. We're free to discuss here. Actually, I'm trying to figure out some way to better use the Discord so that some people can just jump in if they want to contribute. But I'll need to figure that out better. Okay, so yeah, let's see. So so the past few streams we've been talking about, or we've been gaming, just to provide something entertaining to watch, which, if I'm being honest, I still can't really grasp the idea behind streaming games, at least not on a minute by minute level, because I understand that it's entertaining. I catch up on a few streamers, but I can only ever bring myself to watch the highlight reel, to actually watch the VOD and chat along with them. I feel that it uses up a lot of time, and it uses up a lot of it engages me too much that parang it's hard to get anything done, at least with these Clipper channels. They give you an update on all of your streamers, and it's done within 30 minutes. So all of your streamers, their entire 8-hour stream is condensed into that small portion. So actually, when I was reviewing the video from the last episode, so I was, I suppose it's a habit now that you have to get into, that you have to talk, even though that you're muted to everyone else in Discord. You have to entertain the viewers. It's actually pretty hard for those who actually do stream the entire time. It's pretty impressive, but at the same time, that's not the content that I want to present. So moving back to more the talking portion, but not quite back that far. So I was thinking of what we're going to talk about, and I'm actually kind of running out of topics to talk about. So reminder that if you guys want to suggest a topic, you're free to fill up the Google form. It's still in the description. So feel free to just put something there, and hopefully I'll see it. Actually, I haven't checked it in a while. There might have been something, but I missed it. Do a quick check. How do I get the link? Give me a sec. Let's see. I get the Google form, but I'll need to access it from. This is going to. Anyway, so the Google form is there, so feel free to put something there if you want to talk about. You want us to talk about something, to comment on something. I'll get to it next episode. So not this time. So the point of this episode or this stream is more we've talked about before the idea of being productive. So we're going back to that a little, but more along just examples of what we do to occupy ourselves with. Not why should we be productive or all of these philosophical ideas and so on and so forth about being productive, but more what are good things that we like to spend our time on. And I'd like chat to be a bit more interactive this time around. So yeah, later in the stream, you guys can post links to things that you spend time on, and we can take a look at it, see if there's something there that we can, I don't know, review together, or something that we can check out and see if maybe everyone can benefit from it. Okay, so I think now's a good time to bring Joshua in, because I also want him to kind of share what he spends his time on. Let's see, Joshua there? Is Joshua in the chat? Let me just try calling on Discord already. Let's see. Okay, so while we're waiting for him, let's see. So yeah, previously we talked about being productive, and kind of we want to separate the idea of productivity with output, or with external, I suppose, external output. So because I suppose we're more familiar with the concept of when we're productive, that means that we're doing homework, we're doing modules, we're creating something, we're doing something, and things such as watching TV, or reading a comic, or watching a stream, and all of these other things, they're not seen as productive. And I remember mentioning, actually, I'm not sure if this was during stream or if I was talking to one of the students, that it's not that we have to, because I remember at the start of the pandemics, something that I was kind of not really frowning on, but it rubbed me the wrong way, was this idea that you don't have to be productive. And my thoughts on that were a bit, I suppose, controversial, considering the people that I talk to. But it's more of along the lines of we need to properly define the terms. And the idea was that for me, productive is anything that has a particular purpose. And since we're kind of normally now, when we think of productive, we think of it as out, we think of it as work, we think of it as doing something, producing something. Then obviously, if you do things like rest, read a comic, or do something along those lines, you're viewing yourself as unproductive. Whereas in my book, to spend an afternoon reading a book, or even reading comics, reading fan fiction, even. These are things that, while not externally productive, they do have a purpose in allowing us to rest, which is very important. So I suppose, which is kind of what we're going for here, that rest is part of, I suppose, our productivity plan. If you recall, or didn't we mention, I think Joshua mentioned it, but so in the 7 Habits, which Joshua and we attended a seminar once on the 7 Habits, and the last part is the last habit, I think it's the last habit, it's been a while, Sharpening the Saw, in which that we have to invest in ourselves in order to make sure that we are able to function as well as we can. And so things like rest allow us to do that. So the concept behind Sharpening the Saw was, you have this woodcutter, and he's so busy trying to chop down a tree, trying to saw down a tree, that he won't sharpen the blade. When in fact, if he just takes that time to invest to sharpen the blade, even though there's not that external flurry of motion, he'll get done in a lot better time. So the idea is that we kind of want to think of productivity in that way, that it allows us to complete our goals. So, I'm not here yet. Messaging. I told him to be early. Okay, so I see him online. He's just not answering the call. Hang on, let me switch the camera to it. I think he wants to do his thing again. A sec. Oops. Camera's messed up.
No, I'm not gonna do the thing. I was just figuring out how to fix the stuff.
There we go.
Ooh, you're coughing.
Okay, let me just mix. Are you looking at Discord?
Yeah. Why? What's at Discord?
No, I mean, do I need to turn on my camera?
Oh no. I'm looking at YouTube.
Okay, there. Okay. So,
hey.
What?
Are you coughing?
Yes.
Is
it a crime?
No, I meant. No. Okay.
Anyway, so we're talking about productivity and basically how we kind of need to have a better idea of what productive means, and that includes time for rest, or I suppose I would generalize it to just having a sense of idea of what you're trying to do or why you're doing something. So if your goal is to rest, then definitely you can do things like a nap, read a comic, watch a YouTube video, and all of these things. It's just that I think that when people kind of let go in that sense, that they're not quite aware of what they're using their time for, that's when we start to become unproductive, when a 30-minute gaming session turns into 10 hours, or you just want to watch one episode and you end up watching 2 seasons. So I think that's when we allow it to get away from us, and we simply allow ourselves to get moved by circumstance, by what's happening, instead of actually fulfilling the goal, which is to rest, to enjoy a particular movie, to enjoy something that we want in a particular way. So I suppose what we're trying to do here is to establish a better control of how we choose our actions, and also provide some examples of what Cirque and I spend our time on, or what we like to spend our time on, depending on it. So, why
oh no!
Why are you reacting like that?
Spend our time on. I've just been binge watching YouTube videos.
Well, yeah, and that's what we spend our time on. Of course, the term binge watching means that we kind of, I think, that's the time that we let it get away from us, that we open up YouTube so that we can relax for a bit, and then kind of forget that, okay, so we kind of need to fit that relaxing in. I mean, I suppose it sounds kind of kind of rigid, or but it has its proper place. Relaxing. I kind of lost my train of thought there. hang on. So let's see. So let's see. I did think of a few things that I want to show. I want to show the people
Go
in the
ahead.
stream that probably you have and yeah, parang we can comment on it together. So one thing I spent a lot of time on, or okay, umaamin na ako na I spend a lot of time on it. Na probably more than I should. Is I spend a lot of time on comics. I mentioned before that I enjoy stories in various formats. I enjoy TV shows. I enjoy movies. I enjoy books, comics, any place where I can get a story. I enjoy it. So, which is why I find RPGs very engaging. Which is why I find comics very engaging, and so on and so forth. Of course, over the years, I've kind of had to trim down where I get my stories from because some take too long. So I've cut out TV shows because yeah, they take a long time. It's very hard done. So it's only when I can only get the story from that TV show that I actually make it. Genshin actually also. So in terms of I mean Genshin's pretty okay in terms of gameplay, pero I think more engaging is the fact are the different characters and how you make them interact with the world, how their lore interacts with the lore of the world. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I spend a bit more time on Genshin than I should, pero yeah, that's it getting away from me. Okay, so one thing, so I read a lot of comics, way too much actually. But one thing I remember I wanted to show you guys was, hang on, let me just move my windows over here. And other window. So when Joshua and I were growing up, we so we read a lot of these comics. We had then do we have the entire collection, Josh? It's Calvin and Hobbes.
Which one?
I'm showing
Yes,
Calvin and
we
Hobbes.
do. We do.
So we had the entire
Is that
collection of Calvin
mine?
and Hobbes.
Oh, is this online?
Yeah, it's online.
Oh, okay.
So I remember it's a very unique comic in the sense that it's not a comic that or rather it's a comic that you can read as a kid. At the same time, it's also a comic you can read as an adult and still find it super relatable and still find it super funny. And because yeah, parang, for example, look at this this comic that I have displayed right now. So what was the significance of the Erie Canal? In the cosmic sense, probably nil. And then you have Calvin saying, "We big picture people rarely become historians." So, I mean, if you read, how old
As
were
a
you, Josh?
kid,
How old were you, Josh, when you read Calvin Hobbes?
I was grade 5, I think. I was grade 5 or grade 6, if I remember.
So you were 8 years old, son?
Grabe naman.
Diba?
We were 6 when...
Sorry. So probably around 11.
Around... Yeah, I think so, around that age.
And did you get these kinds of jokes?
I understood them differently. As in, it's so different from how it's something that I kind of kept coming back to, and I understood it in a different sense. And the humor was actually funny.
And I actually I remember trying to learn more about Calvin and Hobbes and the reason it was written. So for those who don't know, Calvin and Hobbes is a comic that ran from, I think it was do you remember, Josh? I think it ended 1996.
Yeah,
maybe
around that time.
1989 to 1996. And so the concept is that Calvin is a 6-year-old boy, and he has a pet or stuffed tiger. And the story does not actually explain if it is a pet or a stuffed tiger. So this Calvin is Hobbes, and yeah, so it talks about a lot of very interesting details and issues that you normally wouldn't really talk about to people who are reading the Sunday comics or the daily comics. But they talk about politics, they talk about big picture. So if you read this as a kid, you're probably just seeing a kid who is kind of being really smart about his answers. But if
Later
you
on.
read about it as an adult and yep, okay, so what was the significance of the Erie Canal, or maybe to substitute the Erie Canal, what's the significance of honestly anything, the things that we do that we know, and then in the cosmic sense, possibly nil. And it actually, honestly, I read this comic, all the comics over and over when I was in grade school, when I was in high school, college, and after working, and it hits different every time.
That's true. That's true.
So, this is probably only something that you can fully relate to when you when you're working. So the secret to enjoying your job is to have a hobby that's even worse, which hopefully doesn't happen to you guys. That I hope that you're able to find a hobby that you guys are able to enjoy no matter what. Nandiyan pala si Ana. Si Jose. Sino yan? Si Josh yan. Okay. Okay, so comics I've enjoyed many different comics. So Spider-Man comics, whenever I could get my hands on them, and whenever I could get them online. But I want to talk a little bit more about Calvin and Hobbes. So there was something I saw here. Let's see. Where's that? So the nice thing about Calvin and Hobbes is every now and then you get these kind of these kind of Sunday comics, which we had Joshua and I had the anniversary edition, which had the artist commentary, and you could see that he would detail how he gave the Sunday newspaper a headache because he would completely break the format of a Sunday comic. So he'd have these large panels these 3 big panels, and you see something profound saying, "Look at all the stars. The universe just goes on forever." And then the more cynical Hobbes saying, "It kind of makes you wonder why man considers himself such a big deal." And then you have Calvin answering, "That's why we stay inside with our appliances." So it's pretty it's this comic is if you haven't read it, I urge you to give it a try. There's a lot that you can read about. So enjoying
There might be a lot that might be lost in translation, considering that it's actually a dated comic nowadays, considering that it might be relatable during a time that was, well, pre-pandemic, pre-internet, I guess. Like, there wasn't much talk about gadgets and internet in the comics, if I recall. But it's something that it's still relatable, I guess, considering that it's still one of the published comics in Philippine Star. Uh, it really was able to put itself on the map, so to say.
So yeah, I want to put my okay. So and there are a lot of really nice things about it. So things like simplicity, things about enjoying, just enjoying childhood. So I hope you, for those, even though if you're in college, I hope that you're still able to feel like children when you have to, and enjoy very simple things. So here in this comic, simple water, a trickle of water running through the dirt, and yeah, it's something exciting. So yeah, so I spent actually so these comics that evoke a lot of thoughts, and I hope that whatever you spend your time on, you're able to kind of like get multiple times over the amount of I suppose, well, I don't want to say utility, but for example, yeah, on the surface level, it's enjoyable, it's entertaining, it's funny, but at the same time, it makes you think a lot. This is why I hope that you can, you're able to find these things that are able to engage you. So
Does Genshin make you think a lot?
no, not really. But I mean, every now and then. No, wait, hang on, hang on. So
You
the
will lose half your viewership with that comment.
no, wait. Honestly, the Genshin storyline of Genshin is, it's honestly pretty straightforward. I mean, there are a lot of, it reuses a lot of common tropes. But the character, the characters, honestly, I suppose you can even say that they fulfill a number of the usual tropes. But the way that they integrate with the world, that makes it entertaining. I also use up a bit of brain power in parang the team composition thing is also pretty entertaining to think about. How do these different characters work with each other? So I used to criticize Genshin as a Zelda knockoff, even though I never actually properly played a Zelda game. But once I actually played it, okay, yeah, fine. Okay, it has its stuff going on for it. Okay, just make sure I can see chat. Okay, so yeah, let's see. Something else I want to talk about. So I spend a lot of my time on comics. So honestly, Calvin and Hobbes is the only traditional comics that really still marks itself in my head as a really good comic to read. But I remember, so there are still some comics nowadays that I read whenever I have the chance. Growing up to learn Filipino, I remember reading Pugad Baboy.
Oh my
Do you
gosh.
remember that? It was honestly a terrible tool to use to learn to learn Filipino.
That's-
But
We'd ask our parents, what does this word mean? And then they would translate it, but we still wouldn't get it. And like it was so hard. But yeah, like we own three books of Pugad Baboy. Two books.
This too. How come we got more? And then I suppose more modern comics. Some that I keep up with, Kiku Machine, and those things. So yeah, these are Kiko Machine. Actually, it's a pretty good read. There's a lot of commentary that you can kind of. So aside from being funny, it's also, there's a lot of commentary that you can sort of read into that. It engages you in a different way. Comics by Paul's niece. Okay, I'll look that up. Thanks, Irene. Okay, so aside from these comics, which suppose we have depends on how much. These are printed comics, so it's kind of hard to get them. So you have the web comics also. So I've already opened the tabs, if you noticed.
How do you get comics? You get them how?
No, this is the official webtoon platform. So I read. I'm not showing the other websites that I get. But so here, so actually I got into comics when I was in high school. It started with manga. I was introduced to it by my friend. In third year, I started reading Naruto, and then it snowballed from there. Honestly, I treat manga as more really, if my brain needs a break, I go to manga. So I don't normally go for the deeper, more meaningful manga. Parang super shallow, super babaw na manga. Parang, yeah. If my brain needs a break, then I'll go for it. No, I didn't finish reading Naruto. Parang, I think I reached up all the way to.
Is it possible to finish it?
Yeah, it's possible. I remember, I never actively watched the anime. I watched I watched quite a bit of the anime, but at a certain point, I started reading the manga because it was faster, it was more updated, and then at a certain point, parang it felt like it was going in a loop. So sabi ko, I'll just read the summary when it's done. I haven't read the summary, but let's see. So I started reading manga, and there are a lot of so things like manga. So sige, the normal website I use for manga is MangaDex, but it's down. So hackers got to it. So it's kind of like the most comprehensive site, which is pretty respectful of the releases of the manga. So I don't mind sharing that. But let's see, some manga that I've read recently. So there's Horimiya, which turned into an anime recently. There is Love Lab. Normally, actually, yung mga babaw, they're normally rom-coms. I'm not being monetized anyway, I read.
We're not. This is a non-profit organization.
So yung mga super baba, Yotsubato, super chill and super relaxing Nijiro Days, yeah, that's also pretty fun. So normally the slice of life comics are pretty good. When I got to college, that's when I started hearing about manhwa, Korean the Korean comics, and at first I remember being turned off kasi ew, left to right. I remember.
Judger.
No, I mean, and there was this kind of I know manhwa tends to be a bit more serious. So I remember starting to read Tower of God, and it was parang ang daming mga terminologies, ang daming mga stuff na kailangan So I remember being turned off at first, but yeah, I mean, just because I enjoy the lighter stuff, parang I can still get into these more deeper ones, but I kind of have to make sure that they don't get too much, kasi parang I keep in majority the fluffy slice of life stuff, and then so let's see. Oh yeah, I'm also reading. I'm not gonna show the scanlation websites. So Omniscient Reader. There's also Returner's Magic, and there's a bunch of stuff. But in comics, I've always liked comics because they're able to present a world that can only really exist in someone's imagination, and yet the personalities, the drives, and all of these other things that make people human, you can see it manifested in this world of fantasy, and it's always intrigued me in that way. So now that MangaDex is down, I've been resorting to the Reddit of manga to keep up with which one is being released. So you can look at that if you Okay, so that's it on comics. Let's see. In terms of web series, I normally don't watch videos because they honestly take up a lot of time, more than I feel like I can bring myself to spend on it, even though I spend more time on comics than I should. But I do make a few exceptions for those that are really super action oriented, or those that are really well voice acted very well, those that have really good music. So Josh, what's the last anime you watched?
The last anime I've watched, oh my gosh, what was the time traveling one? Oh my gosh, I really, that one really sunk me. The professor that speaks English, that laughs in English. Sir Nathan can help me with that. Can't remember.
Professor that laughs in English.
Yeah, it's a time travel story. Maybe Chad could help me figure it out. But it was a really heart-wrenching one, and confusing one as well.
Let's see. I can't remember.
No, well, I think there was a game later on. Steins Gate, yes. Oh my gosh, Steins Gate.
Ah,
Yes.
okay. That's right. Okay.
That was the last one. That was years ago. But the one I'm watching right now, very slowly. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I haven't watched anime for so long.
He's- so,
Wait,
I mean, what?
oh no, no. Don't I get to share about comics?
Ah,
I'm just
sige.
kidding.
I mean, I was thinking, boost ko muna yung sarili ko and then you can, sige, do you have comics that you, what do you read?
Yes, comics. Well, also we're going to ask the chat. We're going to mention our top 3 comics as well, recommendations, and we hope that you
Are
could
we?
also share with us. Yes, we are. We hope you could
I
share
haven't prepared
your
that.
top 3 comics. Right now I'm reading Star Wars. Now you can't run out of any Star Wars comics because there're just so many. They branch out to different. They just have so many story arcs. You have from the main protagonist, and the antagonists have their own comics. Then you have the main canon. You also have the legends, which is the defunct alternate universe now. But it's just so many. But Star Wars, it's something that I've sunk so much time and hobby. But I wouldn't still call myself an expert in Star Wars, but still, it's so enjoyable to watch something that later on, if you get to see something that you enjoy, you can relate to it and understand where the lore really comes from. Another comics I've been reading, Minecraft. Can you
Wait,
imagine?
there are Minecraft
Minecraft.
comics?
Yes, there is, and it's so, it's so nice. It's so vanilla, I guess. That it's very nice. It also interjects some progressive thoughts, actually, but in a very very safe way. And uh, overworld, parang something story of the overworld, something like that. Minecraft was also a very nice story. One last thing that I would recommend. I haven't gotten into manga. That's a problem. Because opposite to Sir Tarcy, I'm not a purist like he is. uh, I I get confused by reading from right to left, and that was a problem back then when we had actual manga. Where our dad bought manga when he was still in Singapore, brought it home, and when I was reading it, it was like, oh, is this like an origin story? It's like going backwards or something. Oh, I should have read it that way. Oh, should we tell them our greatest sin we've done with manga?
What was that? I don't know.
You don't remember? Okay, so for everyone that's listening, oh my gosh, to the 21 people that are listening right now, our greatest crime that we've ever done to a manga book. So we had this Pokemon manga book, and then it was the original.
Oh, okay.
It
I remember
was the
now.
original one.
Good.
It was, but we didn't understand it because it didn't talk about the stories of Ash Ketchum
No.
and Pikachu.
It was hard because we got the third book first before we
Oh
got
yeah,
the
we got the
first and
third book
second.
first, and then it was so weird because it was so different from the Pokemon that we know. We were so used to Pokemon that was shown on GMA 7 back then. What we did, we were so turned off. Well, not so turned off because it was Pokemon, and we used to memorize all 150 OG Pokemon. But we were so weirded out because it was a story of Red versus Blue, and then like the thing that really bothered us was that why is it in black and white? So the kids that we were, what did we do? We put some color into it. We actually colored into a manga with uh with what did we use back then? Not crayons naman, di ba? We
Color
used
pencils.
colored pencils, right? I'm not sure even if we knew how to color properly within the lines
No.
during that time.
I think we did an okay job of coloring. maybe we got the color of one Pokemon wrong at one point, pero I remember this kasi Nathan at that time was what 6 or 7, and yun, the one that Nathan had was the one that yung medyo out of the lines yung ano,
Yeah.
mag-color.
Should we show it?
I mean, if you have it
Let's
there,
ask
you
Nathan
can,
if he can, if Nathan could get it, and then I can show it on the camera. But yeah, that was one of the greatest crimes that we didn't realize we had done to manga back then. So Star Wars. The thing is, kasi I've tried Marvel comics, but it's just too much for me. Not that it's just like so widespread that I don't know where to start. Now, some people say just read the omnibus that is complete already on its own, but I feel like I want to know everything about something. So I kind of just go from comic to comic to comic, especially a lot of indie comics. They do have a lot of nice stories. Oh, one web comic. It's a web comic that really got me into D&D. It's Order of the Stick. Oh my gosh, it's really good. If you don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, it's something that can help you, and it was made really well. It's just that I think the artist was uh slowed down in his drawing because I think Nathan talked about that the artist had several accidents with his hand and then he couldn't draw that much during his time and so on and so forth. My source of comics. We're not monetized, right?
yeah.
If you type in getcomics.info, Mark, go ahead, type it. Uh, it's a good source. It has a good source of comics, and their scans are actually really really good. Back then, I would only rely on torrents. Arr, Pirate Bay. But later on, it was so hard to find the collection of issues, especially that Pirate Bay got shut down later on. Oh, it's not loading. Is it loading
Yeah, it's
on your side?
yeah, it's loading. It's loading.
Oh yeah. So with Get Comics, you can type anything on the search, and most likely they kind of have it. So it's a good source if you want to try to look for archived comics way back then. I actually what I do during my free time, what I would do is just download comics, arrange, organize them, and then put them aside. And I'll say one day I'll be able to start reading them when I'm free. But yeah, that kind of became a hobby of mine. Uh, Digital collecting comics. But yeah.
I had a similar hobby, but this time with game music. So,
Oh yeah, we did.
uh, back when ano, so back when
During
I
dial-up time.
the what?
Dial-up modems.
Right. So, but more back when I was still an active gamer because there was a PlayStation within reach. So I would so all of the one of the biggest appeals for RPGs for me was um, one, a very strong storyline, and two, very good music that went along with it. And the reason I suppose I liked video game music was uh, because if you listen to pop music, if you listen to suppose more modern music, the purpose of music is so that you listen to it. But the purpose of video game music or BGMs is that it plays and it accents the current experience. So
It accompanies.
yeah, it accompanies. So parang I can play it while I'm doing something or uh, like parang doing super regular things, exercise, and all of these things. So yeah, it was I was always intrigued by and the way it could evoke certain emotions, whether sad, happy, or just day-to-day stuff. It was really super. It was really super fun. So
Dean is in the chat. Hi Dean. So Dean says, "May I introduce to you Doom Eternal music?"
so
Now,
that's
Dean, you have to understand.
That's metal.
Sir Tarcy actually listens to metal while he checks papers. Checks projects, checks papers. I don't know why he does that,
No, no,
but
no.
he
Okay,
actually does.
I'll get to it. I'll get to that. Okay, so I started collecting, video game music and also anime OST music because it fulfilled the same role, and I actually got a lot, and I organized them into folders. This one is from the OVA. This one is from the actual anime, and all of these other things. So, and then eventually I tried to also arrange it according to mood. So this is the kind of music that I play when it's kind of going tonight, gusto kong matulog. And this is the kind of music that I play when it's kind of gusto kong medyo senti, pag happy. And now, okay, now for checking. So that was when I that one's all of those. I filtered them through either hard rock or heavy metal. So that was my checking music. Because so because for me checking is a very mechanical thing na parang it's either it works or it doesn't. So yung idea is that I need to keep a steady beat, and the faster the beat the better, because I can get through checking faster. So I'm going to play something like super, let's see, hang on, can I
So that's
ano,
why your grades in CS back then was either ones or zeros, because okay, it works, okay, it doesn't work. And it just goes like that. And like Doom Eternal, you really have to go through those combo kills. And the more faster you do it, the more you get power ups or pickups. And then, yeah, that's what he does. The more
actually,
zeros he
I
gets to do,
mean,
sunod-sunod.
how do you think I managed to check the work of an entire batch? Oh, it was because I had 200 BPM music that I was listening to.
Speaking of music, so while you're finding what you're looking for, same with me, video game music. I actually, back then in the humanities faculty, there was this one day I was just checking. I played the shanty music of of Assassin's Creed 4. So
Mm.
the whole set was playing, and I forgot that my speakers was a bit loud considering my spot was at the corner.
Wait,
It
where are you
kind of
checking?
in the faculty in humanities. So
Okay.
it kind of boomed out towards the half of the faculty room, and then people were wondering, was that like a chant or something, like may ritual ba ako or something nangyari dun sa ano. But it was nice. Actually, sa Humanities Festival, palakasan niya ng music eh. Or paunahan niya ng music. You can't be the first one to play in the morning because Sir Inglaterra comes way, way, way in the morning, and then he starts playing his. He does have classical music that's very nice. Kaso nga lang, he's just there really early. That's why he gets to play his music. After break, abangan ko. Pero kaso nga lang, um, Ma'am Frances Tiburcio, siya naman yung hihirit naman ng classical music naman niya. So parang you have to weigh in the time that you play your music out loud, because we in humanities you can't wear earphones. It's
Really?
it's a sin, I guess.
Why
Yeah,
not?
because students will just keep shouting your name, and then all the other teachers will just get annoyed or try to figure out where you are when you're just
Ah, okay.
it's not like comsci when you open and just see Sir Tarcy, or kasi sir, you can see Sir Tarcy either hunchback on his laptop or asleep on the sofa. So those are the two modes that Sir Tarcy is in. You catch him inside the faculty. But for humanities, no. That red line, you have to shout as loud as you can for your teacher. But yeah, that's the situation back then in the faculty.
You know, come up with a kind of queuing system din sa faculty para just submit to a link and then parang,
Yeah, well, sad. Ma'am Tiburcio already retired, so that's one teacher we won't be able to see anytime when we get back. Uh, Doc Christie also, she'll be retiring soon. So, anyways, um, so collecting music, that was a big thing for us back then because internet was such a very hard thing to come by, and if you had a collection of an album of a music, medyo sikat ka na eh. Kasi it's also hard to share this with your classmates. The max file of our USB. Oh,
128 MB. You remember our MP3
128 MB.
players?
Yeah, we were even the first ones who had MP3 players back
Mm.
then.
So I remember uh, back in Pisay, I was second year, and the way that my classmates would describe me is I'd always have earphones hanging around my neck. I'd have that 128 MB MP3 player, which could fit, I don't know how many songs. Uh, so few. I mean, with the amount of music that we had to really pick what music we put in there, and then okay, yun na yun.
Now, before you call us really old, we didn't reach the time where cassette. Well, okay, we did reach the time of cassette tapes, but we weren't the age of doing mixtapes. Like that was so way behind us. But when we were kids, yeah, we did play cassette tapes. Then CDs. Oh yeah, we would burn our own CDs. Oh my gosh. Okay, we are kind of old, I guess. Who owns a CD player? Well, except for K-poppers here. I doubt that they play their CDs. The albums that they buy. Oh, LimeWire, yes.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
LimeWire was a gamble. It was such a gamble because you don't
it's
know
true.
if it was a virus or or an actual song. But now the thing is, it's not much fun collecting considering that you have Spotify that has the whole album already and so on and so forth. But yeah, it was
No,
a thing for us back then.
I still keep trying to say I have music in my collection that is still not on Spotify. So the problem is I can't integrate them, so I can't put them in a single playlist. So there's that.
Okay, now question: top 3 things that you would recommend?
In terms of music,
Yeah, in terms of music, we're talking about music before we
As-
move on back to anime.
let's see. Hirap pumili ng ano eh. Especially if we're talking about a single song. Okay, I'll just recommend artists. So, Lily Pichu because DMCA free. if you want to play something for your streams, and honestly it's good music. I really enjoy my lo-fi type na chill to listen. For the more intense, what's his name? Hang on. I can search his I can't play music kasi I'll get but I can at least search his channel.
Okay, while Sir Tarcy is looking for his, my number 1 recommendation would be anything Final Fantasy. Their compositions are really, really good.
That's kind of cheating,
even if you
though.
don't know the game. Yeah, it is.
Kasi there are so many composers.
Really? Okay, fine. Specifically under Nobuo Uematsu.
Okay, yeah, okay.
No, hindi rin eh. Kasi there are other Final Fantasies that were very, very good as well.
Okay, and that would be my third one. Yoko Shimomura. So he made the music for FF15 and Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, if Sir Nathan is there, oh yeah, he said Ruby. He'd also say Depa Pepe. Depa Pepe is
we heard of that band. So it's a duo of guitarists from Japan. They play instrumentals. It's really it's actually really good. They're actually quite old now. I mean, now that I think about it, I was listening to their music in high school, so it's So ako for the more intense metal stuff, so it's Richard EB. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Pero this is normally my checking music or exercise music. So yun
my last recommendation is Chill Hop. Anything Chill Hop.
I use that also. It's
I don't know, but
no shame.
I use that whenever I'm studying, taking an exam, sleeping, or just anything. It's so weird that it's relaxing. Although there are different different lo-fi musics nowadays, but I don't know, chill hop. Oh, anything also. What's that game? Rewind time. What was that game that you can rewind time? No. Okay, sorry. That's true. Girl, Life is Strange. Life is Strange.
Okay.
The soundtrack is very, but I think you have to play the game to feel the vibe of Life is Strange.
Yeah, there are some games like that. Uh, the music loses its quality if you haven't played the game.
Okay, so those were our suggestions. Type in the comments what your suggestions would be, and we'd actually consider going through them later on. Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney feels a bit tense for me, especially if you can't figure out the case.
I I've come across a number of Ace Attorney albums that have been jazzified, and those are really good. I really like those.
Oh, okay.
Okay, how about games? How about games?
Wait, I thought anime. I thought you were going to recommend what
Sige,
anime
anime.
you want.
Well, anime. Okay, so top anime. So I haven't watched anime in a while, but yeah. Let's make it anime slash manga. So manga that I can recommend is again I actually have a kind of preference. I really like slice of life, fluffy, family oriented manga. So you can imagine there's quite that narrows it down quite a bit. So there's this one manga, My Dad, Beard Gorilla, and I. It's about a father, a daughter, and an uncle. It's a 4 comma. It's really funny, but at the same time, it also touches on some pretty, pretty serious issues. So that's pretty. I also read Spy Family. That's also really. In terms of just pure rom com, there's what's the Japanese? Bokurawa Mina Kawaiso. So it's a manga. It's an anime. The anime doesn't reach that far, but you can read the manga, which is already finished. So yeah, it's really just plain super funny. So I would recommend that. Okay, ikaw, you have any
That was three already.
I mean
I
that's
couldn't count.
so there's Bad Beard Girl and I. So that's a manga. And then there's Spy Family, which is another one. Uh, then Bokura Minakawaiso is another uh, is manga and anime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, for me, I remember my last anime that I watched, and I'm
Full
not
Metal.
ashamed of watching it. No, no, that was a long time ago. Uh, Little Witch Academia, and I
Okay.
really loved it. It was so like Sir Tarcy. I kind of like a slice of life anime. I don't like animes that make you cry because it's just too much. I also don't like gory anime because again, I get turned off with any blood or gory stuff. I think we had bad experience when Elfen Lied showed on AXN back then, and I was just, why is there blood? I was a kid back then, and no. But yeah, uh, Little Witch Academia, it was so good, and I was just watching this last year, while last school year. So, and it hit me really hard because it really had a good story, and I would really recommend it to anyone who would watch it. Bubu Chacha. Okay, no, not recommend, but it's something that was one of my favorites. Bubu Chacha was about the story of this little. I'm not sure if you guys actually watched it or if it played during you when you were kids, but Bubu Chacha was really cute, I guess, for me. It's about the baby and his toy car. Sorry. The baby had a dog, but passed away, and the spirit of the dog went into the toy car, and then they would go on adventures. So if you would search it, it would be really you'd judge me really hard. But that was me. That was my preference. Then Full Metal Alchemist, all the way. That will be one of my top recommended anime. I guess it's a gate. Would I say it's a gateway anime?
I think it's pretty easy
Not
to
so
get
much.
into. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's kind of easy. Yeah,
Oh, I know.
but aside from that,
Special mention to the anime that first made me cry. Planad. I remember
we got you
watching
into
that.
anime.
I think that was the parang one that I really stuck to and that I could watch over and over again. Still, really,
What was it? Sorry, I'm chopping off.
Planad. Uh, so
Oh, Clannad. Yeah, I feel like it's drama heavy. I don't want to cry. So, but the music's good. I hear the music's really good.
okay, let's see. So that's it for. So
Oh,
we've covered.
For you guys, please suggest to us what anime should we get into. Not gory, please. Nothing gory. Tower of God. In fairness, Tower of God is not that much gory. I'm watching Tower of God, but very slowly because it's still ongoing. Uh, that's the amount of gore I can take. Tower of God. But for you guys, if you have anything that you highly suggest or your best, your favorite ones, we kind of want to get into it because I think we're really out of touch of what anime is nowadays.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
do you know JoJo? I couldn't try to, as much as I see it, I can't figure it out like what it's trying to get to. But you know,
I only know it from memes. That's it.
yun, yeah,
I
memes
can't.
too. Oh, Way of the Husband. I've seen that, and I think it was the manga. A lot of memes about Way of the Husband that maybe makes it interesting for me.
I actually they had no.
Ayan.
So when Way of the House Husband became an anime, there was one special live action short that was based on YouTube,
Really?
which is actually pretty good. I mean, honestly, if they could continue that live action, I wouldn't be angry.
There was also an anime about Jesus and Buddha. Do you know that one?
Yeah,
Uh,
I know of it. I read a bit into it, pero I couldn't get into it.
it was
It's kind
funny.
of it's funny. Yeah, I agree.
I watched the live action one, and it was kind of funny. So okay. Please let us know. We're really out of touch of what animes are nowadays.
I mean, I like
Uh,
my stuff. I'm good with it. Pero
Also,
yeah, it would be nice to know what you guys know.
maybe we could ask chat if there's team subs or team dubs, and if they could also recommend to me where I can find Shippuden dub because I can't find anywhere where to find
Sub,
Shippuden dub.
sub. Only in
So there
very
you go.
certain circumstances do you choose dub.
Naruto dub was kind of good. Full Metal dub
No,
was also very good. Really?
Full Metal Alchemist. Yes, that's one thing that you would know. I would agree. You can definitely watch the dub of Full Metal Alchemist. There's also this one anime movie, Summer Wars, which is also very good, and I also wouldn't mind watching that in dub.
Oh,
The dub was pretty good.
Vanessa's right. Filipino dub, the more supreme one ever.
Okay. You remember when we were kids? I remember being prepped 1996, 1997, and GMA was our source of anime, and we'd watch these.
Yeah,
Do you even remember some of them? So,
of course. That's the only anime I can remember actually.
sige nga,
Flame
parang
of Recca.
Flame of Recca, sige,
Okay.
oh, that's right. Ano pa ba?
Flame of Recca, Zenki,
Denki, that's
BT,
it.
BTX.
Vitex, yeah, that's right. Do you remember the Zodiac one?
Oh yeah. But we didn't
Check.
understand Tagalog back then. That was Zodiac. That was ABC Channel 5. Takore. I didn't understand the Takore one also.
The
Magic
time
Takore.
traveling Takure, that's right.
Yeah. Mojako. Mojako was kind of good in dub.
Hmm.
That's why I don't think I'll be able to understand Ghost Fighter, Yu Yu Hakusho in
Kasi-
English or in Japanese.
because we know them as
dub.
Eugene and Vincent
Yeah,
and
we know.
Alfred.
But not only that, but the voices are so distinct, even if they carry the same voices to other anime. It's but yeah, that was us. Sorry, we are really of a different generation. As much as Sir Tarcy says 15 years, not that much difference. There's a huge gap. I can't relate anymore.
Oh wait. I see Cardcaptor Sakura, and honestly, that was my guilty pleasure when I was back in
Really?
the day. It
Okay,
was
fine.
something that
I,
I'd be embarrassed to admit that I was watching, pero I'd really, really watch it.
then when we had cable, were we only able to appreciate subs? So that was Samurai X. That was Flame of Recca. They also released the version, sub version. Then Animax. Oh my gosh, Animax was so nice. Dot hack. Anyway, so yeah, we were pretty much, and it's so weird because it's hard to be a weeb back then. I said it was so hard.
Was
Now
it?
people just embrace weebs. Sorry, I got bullied really hard back then.
I mean, then again, I didn't really bring it up with people. That's true.
Oh, Ranma one half. Yeah, that's Cookie Master Boy. That's another one.
That's right.
I'm not sure if you guys got to that because like, how old were we? And I'm not sure if it got replayed anymore. Anyways, yeah. So that's the anime that we were that we were that we grew
That
up
we
with.
grew up on.
Yeah, that was really nice. In fairness, but for you guys, it's not that we would deny anime at this age. Actually, I still look forward to watching anime. But are we kind of picky now, considering the time we have?
Yeah, I mean, we have to. And yeah, I barely watch anime anymore because it takes up too much time. And just look for the manga if there is, or the novel, and make do with that. Unless it's something like, I wanted to mention this earlier, Your Lie in April, Shigatsu, because you cannot read a music manga and get the same feeling. So you actually have to watch the anime.
Yeah, that's true. Even this anime short, I remember a student of mine gave me a copy of her anime, and it was just really, really short anime. Like I think 5 minutes long, 7 minutes long. It's about this young students that were sitting at the back, and the main protagonist was the girl. The guy was kept on doing so many different experiments on his side of the table. I can't remember if anyone knows that title.
I think I know the manga, but I can't recall the title.
But it was fun. It was a nice kind of. Oh my gosh, si Jessica yung nag-recommend sa akin nun eh. It was really nice.
Okay, I think that's enough about manga. We have a
And
lot of
suggest to us if there's anything that we'll go back to the chat. Don't worry, we actually reviewed the chat later on. So next one.
I guess kasi when I think about what we spent a lot of our time on, so I'd spent a lot of my time on manga, on anime, reading, and also their fan fiction. What's your opinion on when are you a hardcore fan of something? Kasi my bottom line is when you start contributing to the fandom. So if you've written fan
Oh,
fiction, if you've created artwork for that, that's when you're kind of
I,
solid fan.
I thought when you start donating on Twitch or subscribing that you're already considered a diehard fan. Have you? Oh, by the way, honest question. Have you ever have you commented on any of the OTV videos? I know you're a fan.
No. So I still consider myself casual. It's a casual fan. I'm subscribed, so I guess that's the most of my engagement. Pero I don't chat in their live chat. I don't know. So which is why I think na I'm still pretty casual in terms of being a fan. So the things that I would consider myself a more hardcore fan of is, so for those who don't know, I've written fan fiction of certain fandoms that I will not mention,
Yes.
just in case that someone tries to find it. So I've written fan fiction for 3 different fandoms, and I've also created a video edit for one of those fandoms. So those are the things that I consider myself pretty into it.
Please look for it. I'm not sure if it's cringy though, but
It is
SCP,
because
SCP.
no, it is cringy because my first fanfics when I was first getting into it, it was kind of like my outlet for high school. So I would be narrating real life stuff, as in just putting it on the other characters. So talagang But at the same time, I won't delete it because it's kind of like history. So
That's true. Ooh, Nina mentioned here SCP, and uh, I'm freaked out by SCP. Like, I don't go too much into reading because I get nightmares later on. But I do watch the there are parang movie short film adaptation on YouTube. Overlord is one which Jed mentioned and was really good, really creepy, and it kind of got me into SCP again. But yeah, not the games. I wouldn't play the games of SCP. That's maybe Tarcy plays. We should make a him play horror games. But
no,
um,
if there's someone who's going to do horror streaming, it's you. Parang they won't get much out of me.
so you were talking about if you would become a fan, what would you make? Ako naman, I think it's when you actually spend on it.
Yeah, that's
Although
true.
resource maybe time is a resource, so it's one thing. But I think what was I gonna say? If you actually spend money on it,
Hmm.
that's a whole different level. Not necessarily bad. Uh, not necessarily bad.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree. I agree. Na parang it just shows that yun nga, parang you're willing to spend money on this thing that uh, you enjoy. So I mean, people spend money on their hobbies all the time. So it's not a bad thing to to. I mean, I suppose, remind you guys to uh, keep it reasonable. So
Yeah.
don't donate 10,000 pesos to your favorite streamer.
Wait, is Janea here? Those that spend on their K-pop albums, careful. Like, just kidding. No. But yeah. Someone's talking about we play horror games and see ourselves react. Uh,
That's
it'd be
only good
such a
for you,
contrast
Joshua.
because Sir Tarsi would just be, just stone faced while he's playing. Ako naman, I'll just be shouting and shouting. There was this one during October we played Spooktober, Minecraft adventure maps. I just kept on shouting, and Sir Nathan hears me all the way from his room upstairs. So like that's how loud I kind of shout
No,
whenever I play horror games.
I think a good setup for that was so you stream, parang you're the face, but then Nathan and I have heart monitors. Kasi it doesn't show on our face, but we actually do get surprised, we get scared. So you can see Nathan's heart monitor, my heart monitor, and then just your face. Your face is enough.
Oh, Phasmophobia. Yeah, I think I'd freak sa Phasmophobia. That would be a good game for us to try though. Okay, so going back, that's one thing. Kasi how much you spend on it. Spending money is one thing, but spending time is another thing. And spending time, one of the biggest hobbies that you would spend time on is uh sometimes they say spend time on a hobby that would help you earn later on. That's one thing that could help actually. But I think it's something that you have to find something that you really enjoy. And a stereotype for Asians is that most Asian parents would believe that children have to start having the hobby of playing an instrument. What's your take on this, Mark?
Ah, see. The thing is, I think
No,
it's great that people have are given the opportunity, even if baka medyo pilit sa simula na uh, they make you attend piano lessons, flute lessons, violin lessons. I think it's great that you at least have the opportunity to start. But if it doesn't click, then you shouldn't have to force yourself. Pero I don't know. Honestly, for those who can actually play an instrument really well, parang nakakaingit honestly.
very much.
Uh,
As in very much.
so for those, I mean, I understand for those who were forced to lessons, parang they didn't want to be good, parang they just had to be. But yun nga, I suppose I would say don't hate on it so much na parang don't disdain the ability that the skill that you've managed to develop and try to find joy in it na lang siguro even though
Okay,
Nathan's
history time.
Nathan's
Yes,
exposing us
history
for
time. Okay, so back then, we when we had summer vacations, we'd go to the province, and instead of us just lounging around in our grandparents' house, our parents actually enrolled us in classes. Mark had experience of taking piano lessons. So,
Mhm.
Mark, how was it?
I mean, the thing about, especially if you're younger, when you try to learn something, you have an idea of what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to play this music that you heard from your video game, or you want to be able to play this really catchy tune that you want to be able to just sit down at the piano in some cafe and then just play something that the entire cafe will enjoy and something like that. But when you sit down for your first lessons, it will be just chopsticks. And then, um, so, and if you can't power through that, if you can't, goal oriented, that you keep in mind that it's a process that you have to go through these things before you actually get to a point where you're able to play the stuff that you want to play. Parang it's hard to get through it. Oh gosh, you had the guitars.
So, such a ramp up for your introduction of how your piano lessons were. How did it go?
I mean, how long did I last? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
No, I think you lasted a bit long kasi the whole summer. So Sir Tarcy was like, how young were you? Like he would take the
7.
tricycle to the
I think I was 7 years old.
yeah. You'd take the tricycle going towards the to the teacher's house, right?
Mm.
And then sit down and then take your lessons there. Mine naman, so unfair. I'm telling you, it's so unfair. No, okay. In fairness to my parents, they really did they really did make an effort for me to learn guitar. And guitar was a thing um for guys back then. Like if you learned how to play a guitar, especially in an all boys school, you're cool. And I kind of wanted to be cool. The problem was I couldn't get the chords right. I couldn't memorize the chords as well. Uh, so the guitar teacher would come over to our house, and then we'd spend time learning about the different notes, how to play, and then practice. The problem was when it was my guitar lessons, that was the same time that it was the PS time of my brothers. And during that time, it was they had Final Fantasy. And like I was so at the back of my mind, I wanted to play. I wanted to play PlayStation. I don't want to play the guitar. So like after how many lessons, the only thing I learned how to play was um Stand By Me, which was so basic. Just by memorizing the which note to play. And then straight off to the PS. But yeah, I didn't have the drive to learn because I didn't find okay, back then I didn't think it was that cool. But later on, I kind of regretted it when I got into high school that, oh, maybe I could have learned an instrument. I could have stuck to the lessons or so on and so forth.
Mm.
I try now, but I still couldn't figure out the notes. Or my hand. My hand's weird, I guess.
It's
Piano,
practice.
I couldn't figure out. Harmonica, I try, but it doesn't work for me. I'm really the musically declined in the family, as in whatever I try, it's not. But for Sir Darcy, when did you pick up the saxophone?
See, I started. Okay, um, I was. I think it was in high school that I started getting back into music. So again, I was collecting a lot of music, and I wanted to be able to play a bit of those music that I would hear. So, and I was figuring out, okay, what are the easiest ones that I could play? So we had the guitar, or did we get the guitar afterwards? I can't remember. So I
Mhm.
started learning how to play tabs. Uh, so some like late high school, I knew how to play this one guitar song, one song on guitar, pretty good, but I'd still not have no idea what the heck is a chord. And then so and then there was a part in that song which was kind of woodwind. Pero sabi ko, I mean, if I'm playing the guitar, I can't play the woodwind at the same time. So, sige, harmonica. And honestly, harmonica sounds pretty cool. You could just keep it in your pocket. And if you want to put on a show, you just whip it out and then start playing for people. So I got harmonica in, I think my first harmonica, I got it in 2011, I think, 2010, some thereabouts. And then I got an even better one a few years later. I graduated college. That's when I got my saxophone, and I was deciding between either a trumpet or a saxophone.
Gosh, I'm glad you got the saxophone. Can you imagine the trumpet?
I mean, trumpet's pretty awesome. Though I figured na parang if I'm going to play solo a lot, parang I don't belong to a band. So yeah, and honestly, sax is really cool. So that's a big motivating factor. So
It's
yeah,
only cool if you can play it properly.
that's true. And something that most people don't know is when you play the saxophone, you're not just blowing. You actually have to sing the note. So if you can't sing it in real life, it's kind of hard to play the saxophone at that note. So yeah, I haven't touched a saxophone in a while, and I really should. I mean, the few times that you can get it to sound right, and sounds really great. But it's super tiring though. Parang your jaw really kind of cramps up if you play for like 30 minutes if you don't play regularly.
When was the last time you played?
I mean, I only play for like if we have a birthday celebration here in the house every now and then. So, but even then, medyo pili na yung mga pili na yung mga times na I play. So, I think it's already been a
Oh.
year since I last touched it.
Does chat know that? Do they remember that you played with your co-teachers? Nakasabay mo na
Yeah.
pumasok during that humanities festival? No. During what was it? Was it humanities festival or was it
Foundation week.
Foundation
fun.
week? Yeah.
So I remember in foundation. So I started teaching 2014, and in that batch of teachers, nandyan si Sir Brian, nandyan si Ma'am Sandra, so they could play the guitar, and then nandyan si Ma'am Melody, who played the piano, and then Sir Felipe, is he on beatbox? I think. Or was he just singing? So yeah, parang piano. We put up a performance. The practices were super super weird though. Na parang talagang pumipiyok ako sa through the saxophone. That was really funny. That's it. Do we want to talk about more stuff like I know games? I know.
Maybe something last. Things that you spend time on. What would okay? So that's music. Playing music, listening to music, reading comics, watching anime. What's the last thing that you think it's something that commonly people spend time? Oh, Genshin dailies. So, but do you want to talk about games or something else?
Maybe more along the lines of the social aspect of these things that we kasi I remember when I was conceptualizing this episode, uh, I came across a new game through OTB, the Gartic phone, ba yan? You know of it? Okay.
No. I'm sorry. Janea actually mentioned sports na pinafollow.
Do we follow
Should we? No, we play sports. Don't you remember? Alaska basketball camp.
Okay, no, that doesn't count.
No, actually, we kind of did go through a lot of clinics. Bowling, bowling,
Tennis.
chess, basketball, tennis. Oh my gosh, yes, tennis. Um, Soccer, F1 racing. Just kidding. But sports for us, not much a thing. We're more of fans na lang. Sir Tarcy, I'm not sure if he even watches sports. You
Uh,
watch sports?
I mean, for me, sports is a thing that you do, and parang I don't really feel the need to follow people or teams kasi yeah, I play it because it's fun to play. So badminton, so I see a really impressive play on on YouTube or Facebook, then wow, that's I should try harder to get to that level. Pero I don't bother finding out. Okay, wait, who was that person? So parang it was I'm more attached to the sport than I am to the people who play it.
Sir Tarcy is in martial arts. We also brothers also underwent martial arts. Sir Tarcy's what did you take?
Aikido,
Aikido. I took up. Oh my gosh, what did I take
kendo,
up?
kendo.
Kendo and Pikiti Tersha. Arnis, sorry, Arnis. Sir Nathan took up. Oh, he has floorball and kendo. So yeah, and Arnis. Ayun. Oh, badminton, right? Badminton. All of us play badminton that regularly, even during the quarantine. Like we play once a week. Except now it's grabe na yung cases, so maybe not risk it. But we're kind of good in badminton. Are we kind of good?
I mean, we're better than the usual casual players, I guess. Parang we're maybe B level or lower end of B level. I don't know.
I thought we were kind of S level na.
No, no,
No, no.
no, definitely.
Okay, so that's sports for us. That's it's just kind of hard to talk about sports in this setup we're in. But if Janine was talking about sports that we follow, football and F1. So yeah,
I think that's more you though.
yeah, that's me. That's me. Okay, go back to our close up. How do we close this?
So yeah, I was thinking about the social
Oh, me
aspect.
first. Me first. Me first. Before we go to the social aspect is closing. I'm checking
Yeah.
the script. That's a closer.
Okay, fine. Sige, go, 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 go.
No. Something for you, for our audience to understand is why it's such a difference. Why hobbies are such a different aspect in this age compared to our age. During our time, we actually had fixed schedules to indulge in our hobbies. Anime had a really exact time that you couldn't go out on Fridays because it's Pokemon. Sorry,
Is
Thursdays back then.
it Thursday?
You couldn't. Yeah, it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday.
Yeah,
It was
kasi
a
I
hit.
remember we were traveling to Ilocos and then we were begging our parents to stop kasi to find a hotel already so that we can watch the Pokemon anime.
And back then, it wasn't on demand. Like we can only watch it when it airs on TV.
And our pee
then
breaks were commercial breaks, so we couldn't pause and then so we actually had to run to the bathroom every time there was a commercial and
so that was for us. Our schedules were actually forced upon us. Same goes from when we learned when we tried to learn an instrument, when we played certain games, when we when we want to read a book in the library, we're only allowed a certain time inside the library. Mm. And also music, because we can only download music at such a slow rate. We can only listen to the same music several over and over. There's a lot of time aspect that now moves on towards the students for this generation now, because everything's on demand, which is a good thing. But the thing is, it gets more. I think that's why where I got into the pit trap of like YouTube videos. Oh my gosh. next YouTube video, next YouTube video, next, because everything's on demand. Everything you can just search on. Like I was able to find out the whole OTV drama and learned it about last night when I was supposed to be fixing my K hub. Well, I was fixing my K hub naman, so I was listening while doing it. But you know, I could have listened really into the drama of OTV during that the time, or really fixed up my my K hub. But my attention gets split, and I think that's one of the pitfalls nowadays in trying to pick up a hobby, because there are a lot of things that you feel like you can do, and you can just say, madali naman gawin yan dahil uh, it's just a snap of a finger, you can have it. To really develop a habit or a hobby is you have to really, really spend time. You can't just you just can't cram it down in one night like what we do with our exams. We can't just cram all that info. I mean, yeah, we'd be very good on that day of exam, but later on, it just feels forced. To love something, you have to give time to it, and it's something that you have to choose. But I think, like, something that we also have to understand is because I find that a lot of people feel like sayang sa oras if later on you think na hindi ko naman gagamitin yan. Hindi ko naman, I don't think I'll get into it later on. I feel like the journey is kind of important for you to fully realize that it's something that you have to figure out whether or not you like it or not. Like I have a student that comes to me that says na pinipilit siya na mag-piano lessons kahit ayaw niya. Or painting, like they're afraid to take up painting. It's so costly, and then later on, baka mamaya, I won't pick it up later on. But that's the thing, eh. You won't know until you try to go through the journey of it. And I think that's why hobbies are very important, that you try to explore as much as you can. You might not pick it up later on, but at least the question of would I have had like that, or what would have happened if I continued it, is out, because you finally figure out, yeah, okay, I figured it out. Maybe it wasn't for me, or maybe it was for me. Like Genshin, Sir Tarcy, pinilit niya ang AR 1 to 16 in how many days so that he
Uh,
can go co-op. But look at him now. He's actually doing dailies every day.
okay.
He said that it was just gonna be a once a week kind of thing. But no. Sir Nathan asked me earlier during breakfast, say, Mark's really playing every day, no? Every time I check last login, 1 day ago, few hours
No.
ago.
Wait. It doesn't say how long I was playing.
That's no, me too. I only do it for the dailies. So I kind of wait for the stories. I do the dailies and try to relate with people that play Genshin as well. For the memes. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I spent, I'm not wailing on it. I haven't wailed on it. But yeah. They see you at 2 a.m. daw.
Okay. Okay. No. Those are no. How do I put it? If I somehow end up staying up late, I'll normally log in for a bit, so it sometimes creates the impression that I was up until 2 a.m. playing, but no, I was working until 1 a.m., 1:30. I log in for a bit. But anyway, whatever.
Anyways. So moving on, it's one thing to spend time on hobbies, on choosing, not only just choosing, but actually exploring the hobbies. But what Sir Tarcy wants to tell you is that sometimes these hobbies can actually explored socially. It doesn't have to be a single journey. It for me, it's hard to watch anime if I don't have anyone to talk to. And actually, I only got recently back into anime because my girlfriend introduced to me Tower of God, which I can only, sadly, I can only watch alongside her. I tried watching it on alone, but parang I kind of want to talk about it. So I only watch it when we go on our dates. So that's one thing. Me and Sir Nathan, we still haven't finished Korra, The Legend of Korra, because it was a thing that we kind of watched together. So, yun. while driving. Sorry. Anyway, so what Sir Tarsi is gonna say is important. So listen to it.
Well, I know. Just to kind of go back to you're saying that yeah, we spend a lot of time on our hobbies, and honestly, it's good that we do. We can't just be all work, all study on. Uh, we kind of need our hobbies to round us off, to give us honestly gives us a lot of character. If we were
That's true.
just concerned,
I really believe.
if we were just concerned about work, we'd basically be kind of like drones doing whatever we're told to and whatever output. So, uh, by investing in our hobbies and giving it the time, sometimes money, depends on. So, if you need to spend a bit to learn how to paint or to get lessons, so yeah, uh, by all means, go for it. Especially if you feel like it's something that you want to do. So, but guess uh, always everything in moderation. You
Yeah,
don't
that's true.
want to get sucked too far into your hobbies that you start to neglect other things. Uh, and which is why I always bring up goals. I always bring up what's the point of things. Because when you start getting sucked into hobbies, you're doing it more for the sake of the hobby than for yourself. Parang you're kind of there's one more episode, so I have to watch it. So it becomes less of a question of uh, do you want to watch it? Do you
Enjoyment.
need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
watch it? Are you still enjoying it? So to always have that in mind, and by having that kind of goal-oriented mindset, which includes your personal interest, not just your work, not just your professional milestones. So it includes yeah, your personal development, your hobbies. You know, so by having this goal-oriented mindset, you're able to kind of avoid swinging too far on either side. Um, Now, as for the social aspect, to be honest, I'm a very private person when it comes to my hobbies. I don't
No, that's
like
true.
talking about manga with people in general. I don't like talking about the latest episode that I watched. Um, but I do appreciate the community in a sense that it makes me feel part of a larger group. Na someone I like watching reactors to see them react. Oh, I found this part to be really moving. Parang, how do other people react? So I find that for me that's comforting that there are people who are able to enjoy the same things that I do. I might not be as comfortable talking to them in person about it, but I feel accompanied and very affirming. But I also encourage you guys to really. There are times that, well, I mean, if there's something good, share it. People, there might be someone out there who will also appreciate it. And aside from gaining another co-fan, I suppose, you also have, it's also become something that you can bond over. You can talk about. Um,
Oh
that
my gosh, yes.
hmm?
A lot of things comes from what I'm watching right now comes from the students. Um, like among our students right now from grade 10, they're watching Guahua, the shark girl. I can't stop, I keep on watching her, and it's so ah, it's so weird, but it's also enjoying. I'm glad that I was able to discover her content, but I found it out because of students. At first, because something that I can use for my classes. Now I'm just watching it for myself, and so on. But yeah, you can actually influence not just. I guess you can. I'm not saying those who are younger that are impressionable because you kind of influenced me, but that's not saying much because I'm impressionable as well. So, but yeah, it brought me a lot of joy when I watched her. Except when she swears, that's the only turn off. But aside from that, she's fun to watch. I've picked up a lot of stuff from the students that kind of gave the joy back to me during this quarantine. I slumped really hard after failing the bar exams, but there's a lot of things that can happen, and you know, yeah, Sir Tarsi says right. Uh, Build up the community. That's what it says on the script, right? we're going to talk about our community, the
No,
Tarcy Talks.
no.
If you can spread the word of Tarcy.
I said nothing to you before the stream started other than the topic.
Yeah, lugi ako. I'm just ad-libbing here, by the way. The whole series is ad-lib, really.
It's good practice for you.
So, anyways.
So yeah, find opportunities to connect with people, either people who are in the fandom or bringing your friends over to the fandom to talk about things that interest you. Actually, honestly, I kind of wanted to segue to the new draw.io. Sorry, not it's similar to scribble.io, but it's more. It's like Telestrations, but free online. It's hang on, let me see if I can find that.
Survive.io.
No, it's
Are you denying that you enjoyed Survive.io?
Okay, yeah, I enjoyed. OTV played that recently, so you can check there. Parang Guartic phone or something. Anyway, it's a fun game. So if you guys enjoy, and it's a very social game. So I encourage you guys to find these things that you can bring your friends over, spend time together. Especially now, we really have to make an effort to connect with people. It's tiring, but it's something that we need. It's really hard to go through what we're going through alone. For those of us who might not be as comfortable at home, so to make use of every opportunity to always strengthen and reestablish those connections. Last week I took my advice and invited people to an impromptu hangout on Discord. So yeah, we were up until 1 a.m. talking. So I was talking with some 2020 alumni, and it was fun. It was really fun.
What's that, the inuman?
Yes. I mean, honestly,
Okay.
wait lang. It was only me drinking plus
That's
a
so
few
sad.
others. No, okay. Drinking is a social thing for me, so as long as I'm
How
with
many
people.
shots until Sir Darcy gets drunk? Gets red. The count is single digits. Oh shoot!
Is it? Okay, now that Josh is not listening, I have to. Too late. Anyway. Hello? Are you there? Oh, that was. What are you doing? Josh? Hello? And hey, I can hold my liquor. I'm just saying. For those in chat. I see a 0 there. That's not. As long as I continue eating and drinking water alongside of the shots, I can last pretty long. I have to go to the bathroom regularly though. Josh, what are you doing?
Sorry. No. My headset. My wireless headset died. Sorry. Sorry. What were you saying? So how many shots until Sir Darcy gets red? That was the game.
You have guesses already. There's 1, 3, 1, 9, 0, and 7.
No, it's actually double. That's for me. Single digits is for me. For Sir Darcy, he goes to the triple digits.
What?
Before he gets red.
Triple digits. You know what the minimum of that is?
You can say 001 or 1.00. Kidding. But no, Sir Darcy has a higher tolerance than when you graduate. You'll figure out. You'll find out. It's so unfair. You get the blood of Christ every day. That's why you have a high tolerance.
I only take the bread.
Oh, okay, fine. Anyways.
Pero yeah,
I don't.
To find these opportunities. So, ako, it was the inuman. So, this is the first time that I've actually, that I've been ever since the quarantine, I've been going out of my way to actually invite people for inuman, which was unthinkable to me before. So yeah, it's and it was fun. I get to talk casually with my friends, some alumni, some students.
It doesn't have to be alcoholic drinks, by the way, for chat. Just you don't have to wait to graduate or become 18 to wait for Inuma. No, play Among Us. That's you don't have to be 18 plus. Mukbang. We're actually gonna have a mukbang with SC soon. Something to for the students to relate to. So yeah, find things that you can socialize with. Doesn't have to be something illegal or with an age requirement.
mm, and Matthew says that he doesn't like the taste of alcohol. To be honest, I don't like alcohol that much either. For me, it's more of a social thing. So I only actually really drink if there's friends around.
I can't drink. Like I always pass my drink to my girlfriend who has a higher tolerance than me.
I think we've reached our goal for today's stream.
21 viewers. That was our goal.
No, I mean more along the lines of the topic.
So are we going to do a subathon?
Do you know how subathons work?
Like the one that donate a certain amount of money so that the counter restarts up so that it doesn't stop.
So you know how it works, and you know how fast we will end if we do a subathon.
Oh, is that a challenge? Is that on the script?
and and it involves money, so we're not gonna do it. We are a for free stream where you cannot even give money if you wanted to.
What? No, you can. Just kidding. If we get a bigger platform, that's when we'll only start, raking in that money.
You're pitching it again. We are a for service, for service stream, providing,
Shoot, what episode is this now?
10.
This is the last episode.
No, it's not.
How many episodes ba tayo?
I mean, for as long as we can continue churning out content, we're not repetitive. So we're actually reaching our limit soon. Pero not the last episode yet.
Phasmophobia. Anyways. But it's terrible if you watch us play Phasmophobia. Only for me, I guess. It's terrible. Did you just see how we played? What was that game? What was that we played? The one where you betrayed me?
Oh, we were here.
Yeah, my
That
gosh.
was really unfortunate. I mean, I tried so hard to.
Anyways, Jackbox actually. There's a new feature now, by the way, on Discord that it allows parang a speaker platform that there's an audience also within the room, but it's the microphones are given to speakers, but we can also invite people to come up and join easily instead of here on the YouTube set. But again, that's good for the 50th episode. Yeah, guys, suggest topics, promise, and share this if you guys enjoyed this, share it. Maybe others might enjoy too, especially that. Paano ba? Do we still have fourth quarter?
I mean, I do. Lata kayo, no?
So sad. Iba-iba implementation ng every subject, but the understanding about where that policy came from will come later on. Maybe we'll invite teachers on board.
Yeah.
We plan on having a Minecraft episode with teachers. We hope you can look forward to that. Maybe we can make an episode now. We're all in one Minecraft server. And everyone teaches Sir Tarcy how to play Minecraft.
I mean, I'm not
Speedrun. We can
clueless.
speedrun.
I'm not clueless.
Manhunt. You want to do a manhunt? All 22 viewers will do the manhunt against. How fast is that? Just kidding.
Okay. All right. So some people are saying Discord server. So there actually is a Discord server, but I'm still trying to figure out how to manage it properly.
How to
Um,
stream it.
because yun nga, parang I want to set up the stuff muna para it won't get abused and so kasi that's where whenever we have guests on the channel, we add them to the Discord.
Ang
So
gulo na. They kind of betray us all the time whenever we add guests. Is Hans there? Hans is there, right? Just kidding. Anyways, that was fun. I like the Among Us stream back then, but yeah, maybe we should edit that soon or something.
We'll see. Okay, I think that's
Anyways,
for today. So thank you all for coming.
It's a Monday, so take care, everyone.
Yeah, so make sure that you get some good rest. Yeah, keep safe. Not at the same time, so some good rest. And what am I trying to say?
We're going to do the...
No, okay, never mind. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you have a great evening. Bye,
Take
guys.
care, everyone, and bye.